Man, we gotta stop letting the internet dictate how we feel, how we think, what we think about video games, and really about anything. We gotta stop letting the internet dictate how we feel about anything at all. But it's a video game channel, so we'll talk about video games here today. This is something I've been noticing over the last few years, where like this hive mind narrative will be created about a game, rather it be, positive, negative, and anyone who strays outside of that hive mind opinion, if we're being honest, like kind of gets attacked. It kind of, I don't want to use these crazy buzzwords, but it is some sort of like internet bullying that you'll see occur where people just kind of dogpile on someone for having a unpopular opinion or whatever the case may be, liking a game that they're told they shouldn't like, or disliking a game that they're told they should like. And I don't know, often it feels like they're somewhat getting bullied into submission. Last year, I think Starfield kind of felt like one of those games where anytime you saw anyone say anything positive about Starfield, if you looked at their comment section, it was just full of people dogging the game, and at times, like we talked about, even dogging the person who liked the game. Really, really weird, bizarre, creepy shit. But the opposite can also be true, where you'll have these games that are, universally praised, and then the second you step out of line with that universal praise, you're getting, the same sort of blowback, or rather it be for an Elden Ring or a Baldur's Gate 3 or a Red Dead Redemption 2. You're seeing even a little bit of that with Black Myth Wukong this year to some degree, where if you criticize it, have any sort of complaints for it, you'll see quite the pushback for that. But in those situations, at least we're talking about games that have already released, games that have already come out. So theoretically, the people talking about those games, they could have, already played the games, already formed their own opinion on the game. And so to me, that's like, you know what? It is what it is. You take the good with the bad. The weirdest thing to me, though, and I feel like we've seen this ramp up to a crazy degree as of late, are these hate campaigns that are started for games before they ever come out. So people are like predetermining the game's quality before it ever releases. I've been seeing a ton of that this year with Dragon Age the Veilguard, which is coming out next month. And don't get me wrong, it does seem like a huge percentage of the actual hardcore Dragon Age fan base is pumped for this thing to release. But there's also been this just massive hate boner that has sprung up in the last few weeks, where I've been reading previews of people who have actually went hands-on with the game and played like 7 hours of this thing, and most of the previews are glowing for Dragon Age the Veilguard. But then you finish reading it, you go into the comment section, or you finish watching the YouTube video, go into the comment section, and it is full of just people bashing this game, just regular people like you and I bashing this game, and telling the person who went hands-on and previewed the game for 7 hours that they are incorrect. Listen, I don't trust previews 100% either. I do think there is a lot of sketchy shit with previews. I remember the Redfall previews were pretty damn good, and then the game came out and ended up being not good at all. And yeah, there is that sketchiness of being flown out on a publisher's dime, being wined and dined. And sure, it's not a publisher directly paying the previewer, paying for positive coverage, but there is some indirect, at least, hope that, whining and dining and doing all this elaborate shit could possibly gain you a little bit of favor with the outlet, with the person who is providing the preview coverage for your game. Like, it just wouldn't make sense to do all that shit if you weren't at least hoping for some positive coverage on the back end. They're at the very least hoping for some level of indirect influence, and that's their fucking job. They're trying to manipulate the game in their favor to the best of their ability, and it's the previewer's job to not be manipulated. But I think that's probably easier said than done. But regardless of all that, okay, sure, previews are really, they're sketchy. So when I look at previews, I look at them with, quite a grain of salt or two on that meal. Definitely don't think that's how you use that phrase, but you get what I'm saying. I take previews with a grain of salt every single time. But I will say, even though I don't necessarily trust preview coverage, you know what I trust far less than those previews? Are people saying the game is dog shit and that the studio's gonna crumble and that it's all this, that, and the other, all this negative shit, when they haven't even played the game. The game hasn't even released yet. It really feels like they have some active investment in seeing this game fail, which I can't really wrap my head around that. And I've seen it for other games as well, like with Hogwarts Legacy in early 2023, where it was just like people had this investment in hoping that Hogwarts Legacy failed. I remember seeing spoilers on damn Twitter where people would talk about, playing Hogwarts Legacy, this, that, and the other, and the top comment would be somebody spoiling the end of the game and just ruining the fun for everybody in the hopes that that would prevent someone else from going out and buying the game, or that would ruin someone else's enjoyment of the game. It's like, what is this weird shit, man? It's really funky. And it definitely does have some political stink to it, for sure, where, the extreme of the farthest extreme of the left was shitting on Hogwarts nonstop, and now it seems like the farthest extreme of the right is shitting on Dragon Age the Veilguard nonstop. But I guess my question more than anything is, like, I feel that these camps of just absolute extremist beliefs and this, that, and the other, how are they... Is it just because they scream the loudest that they end up circulating to the top of everybody's, Twitter feeds and YouTube algorithms? Because it feels like I see a disproportionate amount of that shit compared to just normal, rational people discussing the game and in the game at face value, discussing the merits of the product. Like, anytime I see someone talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard and talk about, man, I don't love the direction for the God of War combat, taking inspiration from 2018's God of War. While I might disagree personally, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that sounds great to me, I love hearing someone have that opinion because we're discussing the game at that point. Or someone saying, yeah, I don't love the, overwhelming amount of purple on the screen, or I don't love the new art direction for some of these characters. Like, we're discussing the game at face value and just the game alone. That's the type of conversation that I personally want to seek out. Like, you're not some awful person for playing and enjoying Hogwarts. You're not some fucking Marxist for playing and enjoying Dragon Age. It's video games, dude. They're supposed to be fun. This whole thing is supposed to be fun, and it feels like, that political alignment or that ideological, almost cultish sort of belief has warped people's minds to such a degree that it's influencing and negatively impacting this hobby that we're all just, we're supposed to be enjoying video games. That's supposed to be an escape from all that shit. I don't give a fuck who you vote for. I don't give a shit who you vote for. I don't give a shit what your political alignment is. Like, we're supposed to respect one another, enjoy some damn games, talk about some games. Like, what is this shit? It just seems like a truly miserable way to live your life, where you're nonstop bitching about something being woke, or you're nonstop bitching about trying to go find some tweet from 15 years ago to cancel some guy that you disagree with because they bought the fucking Wizard game. I do think there is, though, some element of BioWare, just working against the fact that the marketing campaign for this thing was awful. To reveal, that first cinematic trailer that literally looked like Fortnite, and to reveal that at the Xbox Game Showcase, a showcase that's going to get, tens of millions of views across social media, and also a showcase that is not directly targeted at Dragon Age fans, not directly targeted at BioWare fans, and for you to potentially have the most amount of viewers that will ever see your game, and to show it off in that light, and also to show off a game to new people who would potentially be interested, and to have this dog shit CG trailer as your first impression. Like, I know it's cliche, but you do not get a second chance to make a first impression. And the amount of people who saw that trailer and were instantly put off by it. Like when I first saw that trailer, I was like, holy shit, dude. This is really, really bad. Like, this is a awful direction for BioWare to be going in with Dragon Age. And then, thankfully, they dropped that gameplay trailer like a couple days after. I watched that. It was excellent, and a lot of my faith was restored. But how many people did not watch that second trailer? How many people saw the first trailer and they were left with that impression of, like, yeah, damn, I guess that's the game. And for that portion of the negativity, I definitely get that. I 100% understand that. And I think it's super unfortunate that BioWare is having to fight against that horrible, horrible first impression that people had for Dragon Age: The Veilguard. But I don't know, man. I was just thinking about this. Wanted to come in here, rant about it. And yeah, just, think about how many great games you played back in the day before we were inundated with so much so much online conversation. How many games you really, really loved from like the PS1, PS2 era that you then found out 20 years later people absolutely hated. You go on the Metacritic and see, oh damn, this game reviewed horribly, but I really, really enjoyed it. I always think about, I know this is silly, but I always think about the Wolverine game on the PlayStation 2. Like, one of my favorite games ever. I'm sure, to be fair, I was going to say I'm sure it doesn't hold up well, but I did replay it probably 8-9 years ago, and I thought it was still pretty damn fun. Hard as shit, but really fun. But yeah, and I mean, even in recent times, like Resident Evil 6, I loved Resident Evil 6 when it came out, and I still love Resident Evil 6. Alpha Protocol I love. Days Gone, which we talked about the other day. Like, I don't know, just make your own opinion about games. Go out there, have fun. And I'm not, of course, dude, use the reviews out there. And now we're at such a great day and age where you can literally go and watch the day a game comes out. Some streamer will be playing it. You can go and watch a literal representation of what the game is going to look like whenever you either choose to buy it or don't choose to buy it. Like, that is a full, accurate representation of how that game is going to function. You don't have to solely rely on reviewers if you do believe that the reviewer is biased, this, that, and the other. I don't know, I guess I'm just saying that it bums me out that in this day and age it feels like we have more resources than ever and more of an opportunity than ever to make our own opinion about things, to form our own opinion, to make up our own mind. But it feels like in some ways we are choosing to do that less so than ever. And yeah, I don't know. It just really bums me out. I hate to spread this negativity with y'all, but I was thinking about it in the case of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and kind of just wanted to rant about it. So appreciate y'all letting me rant for a minute here.